Yeah. Hello, welcome everyone to another Homestead from Scratch, and I am here with John Dejan right now. Hey, we're not shadow banned, John, so that's good. Yet.
Don't want to get shadow banned, man.
Billy's hanging out in the audience there.
How nice.
From some back room somewhere.
Doing some secret squirrel stuff somewhere, man.
Yeah. So how's it going, man? It's been a little while. I've been kind of on a internet hiatus. And,
that's okay. I need to do some detoxing, man. I'm doing dry January, so I probably ought to do no social media February.
Yeah, it's been kind of nice. Like, I don't know, staying away from the screens a little bit. I can't say like I've been totally away from them, but it's been kind of nice to unplug and kind of be with family a little bit and be outside a little bit more. And
well, that's always the big question, right? Is like what even though you're not 100%, the time you are off of it, is it productive or so you never know. It's like, or do you just pick up another bad habit? But yeah, I'm needing to detox a little bit myself, but we'll see how that works out. But
yeah, man, kind of ran across an interesting guy while I was just hanging out. One of my buddies told me about this guy, Dr. Jack Cruz, and if you haven't heard of him, he's a really interesting dude to go check out.
I followed him probably 10 years ago. He was a doctor at Centennial Hospital there in Hermitage when I lived there. When he actually had a practice. He's not practicing now.
He was in Nashville for
yep.
Apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's different, man. He takes things from a completely different angle. Some of it's a little I'm not too sure about, but he's been around a while. And he's got some good things to say. I don't. What's his latest? What is he on to these days as far as health and well-being? Or
yeah, the big thing that he's talking about is staying away from the blue light on the LED screens too much, and basically setting your circadian rhythm, making sure that you get enough, like, see the sun in the morning to kind of kick off your I guess your production of like melatonin, natural melatonin, and then staying away from the artificial lights before you want to fall asleep. Like I think we kind of had a conversation about that. You at one point you had a really difficult time falling asleep, but you found ways to help you get into a good sleep schedule and everything.
Yeah, he's been on that bandwagon for a while, and he also is very much, at least he was, talking about, the just like power lines and stuff like that, emitting, EMF, I guess, and staying away from that and really shielding yourself as much as you can from that, all these things in the modern world that are, we just started doing them not knowing what kind of damage they do, and it's just a part of life now, so it's really kind of hard to back away from it. But he's trying to take it piece at a time, and he's always been I started following him when I was kind of on my kind of paleo keto kind of approach to things, and he was just a real solid guy, lots of ideas, lots of theories mainly because, you know, I can't say that they work for me, everything I tried, but you know, we're so we're so much individuals that not everything's going to work for everybody the same way. And so I don't blame him for that. I just kind of, you know, the human body's like so complex to think that you can, oh, well, my problem is I don't have enough magnesium and that's going to fix all my problems. That's probably not going to happen. It's good to have the magnesium.
I will tell you that most people are deficient in it. I know that for sure because I found that out myself, like by experimenting with magnesium. I use a topical one though. It's like a magnesium chloride oil. It's a magnesium oil, and you can apply it to your skin. But what I didn't realize was that as a response to stress, your body will burn magnesium, and we're all stressed out all the time just because of the very nature of our society and what we go through on a daily basis. Like,
right.
And so, yeah, once I learned that and started to use that stuff on a regular basis, like it helps with like muscles. When your muscles get tightened up, it'll help relax your muscles.
Yeah. I used to do the same thing when I used to run a lot. I used to use magnesium lotion and absorbs transdermally and goes right to the problem. And it did help. It did help. I don't run anymore, so there's no reason for me to do that. But I do get cramps in my feet every now and then, you know, like the middle of the night. That always kills me. But the magnesium thing, you know, for sleep, because they say, you know, it's magnesium helps you sleep, and it never really worked for me that way. But that's, again, having insomnia and sleep problems, there are so many things that can possibly cause that. You just have to throw the kitchen sink at it until something works. And that's kind of, you know, what I did, you know, and, you know.
Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like the circadian rhythm thing and getting your body kind of tuned in with the natural sunlight has a big effect on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, part of my problem, and I'll blame Jack Cruz on this, you know, I'll blame everybody in the health and fitness space on this, because, you know, I wasn't a competitive athlete, but I was, you know, I was really wanting to do some, you know, I wanted to improve my performance, you know, and one of the things they're like, man, you got to get 8 hours of sleep a night, man. You know, it's non-negotiable, you know, and it's like, you're talking to a dude that's maybe getting 5 hours of sleep every night, and 8 hours is a freaking dream. And even to this day, I don't sleep a full 8 hours a day, but I've gotten a lot better. But when I first started doing that, it was like the fact that I didn't get 8 hours of sleep and I thought I was doing myself harm was actually causing me anxiety and keeping me awake at night. You see what I'm saying? Is like, if you plant these suggestions in your head that this is definitely, I need this, and if I don't have this, it's going to cause a lot more problems. If you go, okay, well, I'll try this, you know, maybe some people only, you know, can work efficiently on 6.5 hours of sleep a night. You know, some people, oh, well, I slept 10 hours last night. Man, the only time I sleep 10 hours is after I've been on my deathbed with the flu or a bad sickness. I can't sleep that long. That is not something that's even a realistic goal for me, right? You know, but that's, but yeah, there's so many different things that can cause it. And some of it is just, that's how your body works. You know, one of the things I found out that was interesting is that, and this may be a health and fitness show for all those people tuning in.
I mean, I've been on that kick for a while. But,
because the thing is like when you're go to sleep at night, obviously we all know about intermittent fasting and things like that, where you have a window of time where you don't eat and you kind of compress it down into an 8-hour or 12-hour or 16-hour, whatever methodology or protocol you're going with. But the problem is, in the middle of the night, which is my problem, was never falling asleep. My problem was I'd sleep for 2 hours and I would wake up and it would be like, oh shit, here we go again. I mean, I wouldn't sleep really soundly the rest of the night after that. I did hour here, 45 minutes there, and it was a real disruptive type of a sleep. But the thing is, as I found out, is as especially if you're doing intermittent fasting, your blood sugar drops when in the middle of the night, and one of the things that happens when if it drops too early in the evening is it produces cortisol as a response, and that will wake you up. And so actually, although people on keto and health people would advise against it, sometimes having a little bit of sugar before you get your blood sugar at a less, not, if your blood sugar is fine, then fine. But if it's low when you go to bed, it can cause sleep issues, because your body is like, okay, there's no sugar in my glucose in my bloodstream. It's going to start producing cortisol, which is that's what wakes you up in the morning. Your body eventually wakes up when you expose yourself to sunlight. All those reactions to wake you up start happening. And when that crap starts happening at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's not so pretty. So yeah, I've been through a lot of it, some of it was stress related, some of it was I was over exercising and I was just exhausting my body of literally everything. When you're running marathons and doing, crazy shit like that, and just working out hard every day, you deplete your body. And even if you eat well, you're still running, hell, I was 50, 55 years old when I was doing it. I'm almost 65 now. It's like, it just ran you down. And, for my age, I needed to rest and recover more than I needed to exercise. So it's a balance. There's so many things to balance out. There's not a silver bullet. I mean, you may get lucky the first time and somebody goes, hey, you've got insomnia, try magnesium. And if that cures yourself, that's a great thing, but usually it's going to be trial and error, for me. That's been my experience. Maybe not everybody, but that's been my experiences. I even went on heavy, pharmaceuticals for a while. And that's the worst thing you can possibly do, because that wrecks your whole system. And it takes a while for your body to get that stuff those chemicals out of your body, and it's not good. So I would never recommend pharmaceutical drugs to cure insomnia. That would be, if you just literally can't sleep at all and you need to shut your body down, maybe. But no, there's other ways that you can do, and just to be completely transparent, with, well, John, what fixed it? Well, what fixed my sleeping problems, number one, the blue light. But to me, any light was a trigger to wake me up, because I do wake up in the middle of the night. And if I see any kind of light, it just causes me to wake up. So I wear an eye mask where it's completely pitch dark, even when I wake up and open my eyes, I don't see any light. It's like it's completely dark. Second thing is I'm sensitive to sounds that wake me up in the middle of the night. So I actually wear these earbuds that you can actually sleep in, which, I can play an audiobook. I can actually play music that helps you fall asleep, or natural sounds like rain falling or whatever, those neural beats, I guess is what they're called. And they help.
Binaural beats.
Yes. And that has helped a lot. And then the final thing I did, Well, there's a couple things. I'm still experimenting, man, and my sleep is progressively getting better. The other thing is I gotta have it cold. I gotta I gotta be cold, man. When I go to bed and I hit those sheets, I gotta shiver a little bit and shut my body down and get that body temperature down, and it really helps. And I have to stay cool most of the night.
I came to that by accident, John, because I went to go watch our friend's place while they were out of town, and they have this fancy new sleep thing that like has an AI that does that whole thing where it cools your body down
Uh-huh.
while you're starting to go to sleep.
Mhm.
And I swear, I thought it was like the best sleep I'd ever got because it was doing this cooling my body temperature down while
Well,
I started to
it
fall
was keeping
asleep.
it cool at a fairly constant level, and so your
Yeah,
body could just sleep and not be, "Oh, I'm getting hot," and to pull a cover off, I'm freezing, I need to.
that's got to be a big key though for like
Yeah, it is, and it
maybe a
did for
lot of
me.
people. Yeah,
Is because I'm a cheap ass, and I'd have that thermostat up there, I didn't wanna spend that money, putting you know, my room down to 68 degrees at night, in the middle of the summer, the air conditioner is running constantly, but I'm going, it's the cost of good sleep, And in the winter, it's like I'm starting to push the limit, man. I'm down to
yeah.
I'm because I don't have to worry about heating as much, right? I'm actually saving money. So I've actually got it down to 66 degrees now. And I'm taking 1 degree at a time and see how much I can tolerate.
No,
Um,
I do think there's a good opportunity there for somebody to come up with an invention so that it doesn't because like this thing that um, they had, I think it's connected to the internet,
uh-huh.
and it's I don't know if it's hardwired or if it's using Wi-Fi, but if you could have a little thing that's like not putting out excess EMF or whatever,
Right.
but and it does that thing that cools your body down, and you probably got a winner product right there
I
because
would think so. I would think so. But, those things all helped a lot. And the last thing that I have used and continue to use is just THC at night. Um, I normally don't do edibles any other time. I literally get high in my sleep.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it calms the beast inside me somehow and lets my body kind of. I think it's more for my brain than my body. It kind of shuts everything down a little bit when I'm sleeping, and I don't get,
you don't
as
have like your brain racing with thoughts, I
right,
guess, or something
right.
like
It
that.
shuts it down. So of all those 3 or 4 things are what ended up working for me, Um,
Yeah,
so I mean, it's not like I've tried I've used blue light filters on my screens. There are programs that you can adjust that so it turns off all the blue light or most of it. And on my phone, but it didn't necessarily work all that well. But
well,
in conjunction with
it's not just the lights on our screens. Apparently, it's also all of the lights that are around us at night.
sure,
So if they're compact fluorescent lights, they have a specific frequency that they're going off at,
yeah,
and you know, the it's not like the natural more the incandescents give off more of a natural spectra of light and not these pulses of different frequencies or whatever
right.
in the spectra from what I've seen. I would like to get a little spectrum analyzer and start looking at some of that stuff myself, like going down some of this rabbit hole with help.
Yeah, I mean, I even got to the point where I put tape over the light on my smoke detector in my ceiling. And completely blocked that off, that little tiny light in there.
Oh wow.
Um, because I'm just sensitive to light when I sleep, and I wake up and it's like it's almost like a spotlight shining on me, and it's a freaking smoke detector. It's like, come on, man. So I've kind of gone down a lot of these rabbit holes myself, and any suggestion things I've tried that didn't work, but they may work for you. I mean, I've gone down the rabbit hole. So if you got any questions, let me know. Or our adoring fans out there, if they have questions.
Well, Sherry Hyde posted something here, something called Cardio Miracle, and I went to go look that up, and I guess it's a nitric oxide supplement. Have you ever played around
No, I've
with
never done
nitric
that,
oxide?
but I for whatever reason, and I'm an Instagram person, and I get all kind of ads and Instagram shit, pardon my French, but it's like they're trying to sell nitric oxide for about everything.
I guess from some cursory things that I've heard about nitric oxide is it's supposed to help open your blood vessels or something like that.
It's supposed to reduces blood pressure if you got blood pressure issues. That's one of the good things. One of the other things, because my profile on Instagram, they know how old I am, and of course, there's always the ED medication, and it's like nitrous oxide works great, and I'm like, not saying it doesn't help for sleep. I don't know. I've never used it, but it just seems like every ad I get is something with nitrous oxide in it. I'm like, okay, never tried that, and maybe it does work. I'm not going to say it doesn't because I have no idea. Never tried it, but I get bombed with ads every now and then on stuff like that. I'm like, what's the chance this actually works? I don't know.
Let's see what Billy's got to say here. I didn't realize you had trouble sleeping. I sleep like a brick and wake up early feeling pretty well. I got there by working until I'm tired. I think I'm keeping good gut health makes the most difference. That helps me a lot too, is if I just work myself real hard during the day, and then I'm by the nighttime I'm ready to crash pretty good.
Yeah, well, that's true, and that's one of the things when I did.
Sherry says the cardio miracle has been a miracle for her. So
cool. But as far as working late, I mean, I went down the whole rabbit hole on sleep in general, and I actually took what are they called? Gosh, that's cognitive behavioral training, CBT. CBT, is that what it's called? CBT. Basically, you're kind of brainwashing yourself a little bit, but it really did help, but one of the things is like, and it was a whole program, and I don't even know if it's even out there anymore, but it was really good. But one of the things with sleep is like, sometimes you're not ready when you go to bed, and it may be 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock. Your body has not accumulated enough sleep debt for you to properly sleep the number of hours you need to sleep. So it's basically, they're saying, if you have really bad insomnia, they'll basically say, okay, here's what you do tonight. You're not going to sleep at all. You're just going to stay up. Don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. Do whatever you can. Don't take any drugs to keep you awake or anything, but just slog on through it. It's only one night, and you don't sleep very good anyway. So for fuck's sake, who cares, right? Hope we don't get a strike for that. But anyway, and basically, and then stay awake all the rest of the day, and then pick a time that you want to be the time you go to bed. And it's like, so you've basically been up for 36 hours, and you finally go to bed at 9 o'clock, and you want to sleep for 8 hours. You sleep for 8 hours, you're going to want to sleep more because you haven't gotten sleep. It's like, no, get up when you're supposed to get up and go. And it's like, it's to kind of reset your circadian rhythm a little bit, but you got to push your body so hard to really be tired. So it's like, well, I'd only sleep 6 hours a night. I'll figure a way out how you can't. Don't sleep for 2 days and you'll definitely sleep for 8 hours. And it
Now,
basically resets everything to where it's like, okay, don't, and just, you can do it slowly or you can do it gradually. If you want to go ahead and take a big whack at it, just don't go to sleep, and then the next day it's like, say you've only been sleeping 5 hours a night. It's kind of your average. So after that marathon staying awake, well, don't go to the full 8, go to a 6, because 6 hours would be a good night's sleep for you. So only sleep for 6 hours. And then slowly keep increasing that as long as you don't have a relapse, back to 5 hours. And just slowly work up. And it's just retraining your body and your circadian rhythm. Just no drugs, no anything. It's just like it's kind of white knuckling the problem, but it did start me on the path, and it got me to remember I was saying I was getting anxiety because I wasn't getting 8 hours of sleep, and I would wake up and go, what's wrong with me? This is going to end up killing me. I'm going to have a heart attack because I'm not getting enough sleep, and all the other things they say about not getting enough sleep, which is true. But I was creating part of my own problem, and that
kind of like reinforcing the thought or whatever.
Yeah. So and they teach you when you get to that point, and first of all, recognize that you're doing it. And you're like, oh shit, I'm making my problem worse. And so then it's like mentally, you need to talk to yourself. It's like, okay, if I don't get 8 hours of sleep, I'm not going to die. I'll just sleep as much as I can and be done with it. And just kind of bring that anxiety level down of, failure to perform, basically. It's like, that's causing your problem, it's kind of a vicious circle. So, so that was, like I said, I'm not an expert on the subject, but I've definitely worked through it quite a bit. Anyway, so I don't know.
I've noticed that in my health journey myself, is that just like you were saying, these things that like create that vicious cycle of a narrative that you're playing in your own head. Like, if you keep telling yourself that you're not going to be, if you keep reinforcing the negative,
right,
then you get more of it, really. So really it is like a mind shift in so many things in our lives, that you have to start programming yourself in a different way, I guess. Like we probably have all these programs running in our background from the way we grew up, and the schools that we went to and all that stuff, where you have some of this mentality, I guess, like Tim Cook would call it, doing his presentation, Toolman Tim on YouTube that I've interviewed before. He calls it the poverty mentality. But we get stuck in this kind of mentality where we tell ourselves we can't do something, when really we could. But you gotta program yourself by giving yourself some positive reinforcement in that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Instead of saying I can't, saying like, well, how can I? And just like all the stuff that you went through to figure out your sleep, you kind of make it an experiment, I guess, and you kind of make it fun.
Right. And just kind of relax and not get too, I don't know what psychologist, or it's probably somebody on TV, or I don't know, but it's called stinking thinking. It's like it's a negativity. It's really what it is. It's like you're beating yourself up over something that you don't need to be beating yourself up over. It's only making your problem worse. It's like, and I think that's pretty common. That's pretty common. All right, I'm getting my dog here.
All right. Yeah. So another thing
I'm gonna kick her out. Hold on a second.
All right. It's a cute little dog. Is that a Chihuahua or?
Yes.
Little Chihuahua.
Yes, we got 4 dogs, and this is not fun when they can't go outside and it's below freezing for 4 days.
Oh yeah, it's been
And 2 of them
biting.
are big dogs, so
Yeah. So see, Billy, what is he saying? Motivation is key to taking any action. I found I get my health to stable, happy medium where I feel just well enough and stay active enough that I go along with eating some trash here and there. Yeah, dude.
well, there
So
is.
so Billy, man, I am having the same struggles, man. Like I definitely have to stay away from like the sugar and the carbs because I've been on them this whole holiday season and I've gained like 20 pounds back, man. And I've been working out, staying working out, but my body has been feeling it and not working out as hard and I got sick last year. I've been sick for a week, not being able to really push myself, but I'm kind of realizing that maybe doing the workouts every day is acting against me now. Like I think I need to add in like some days where I'm not going as hard and I'm doing like stretching or some kind of mobility work or flexibility stuff because I felt like I've been getting really stiff, and that stiffness has caused me to have a real bad pain with my neck, and it's caused my shoulder to get like some neuropathy in my shoulder. But that's also adding on to what I do for work, and I'm kind of bent over and kind of in a hunched over position a lot. But I've been doing more like moving, like you told me to go walk, like that
Yep.
helps out with your back. So I've been doing more walking and just went out and played disc golf with some buddies on Friday and felt like it kind of loosened some things up. And I've been doing some mobility exercises as well. And I feel like that's been helping me out a little bit as well. So
Yeah, and that's pretty common, Greg, especially, you kind of adopted this kind of fitness lifestyle, what, about 18 months ago? How long has it been?
yeah, a little over a year now.
Yeah, and all that is although you vary your workouts, you're still kind of hitting the same muscles at the same angle, at the same level of um,
Intensity.
intensity, and you're gonna wear out. You're gonna wear out well, you're not gonna wear your joints out. Well, you can cause problems. The neuropathy. I've got the same thing in my shoulder. I quit working out because of it, and I was doing some rows, and I like to get full range of motion, and I'd pull it back, and pull my shoulders back, and I think I pinched a nerve in my back, and
Mm.
it's gone all the way down my arm to my 2 fingers are numb, and
I've got the same thing, but it's like these outside two
yeah,
fingers. Right?
it's weird, man, and all it is you just pinched a nerve, and I'm actually going to go to a massage therapist and get some deep tissue massage. And I've had that done before, like one visit. It was up in Nashville. A guy did it. I mean, he got up basically my shoulder blade and just dug his hand underneath there and just like massaged it and broke up all that scar. Well, it's kind of like scar tissue. Your body's trying to heal itself, but it kind of locks it into one position.
Yeah, that's so weird to me. It's like how it's like it needs assistance to kind of get out of this one mode that it's in or whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
It's almost like it's like frozen in one mode or something.
right. They've done studies on of skeletons of like early like, I don't know, they're not cavemen, whatever, they're not Neanderthals, the ones that came after that, the humans, basically the ones that started farming and started forming communities and everything, and modern societies. And they would go and they would dig up these skeletons of these like farmers, and you could see that they were either right-handed or left-handed, because their joints would be worn out on one side or the other, right? You know, shovel all the time, or a rake or a hoe. And it's like, it's that constant one-way, one-sided motion that would wear out a shoulder or a knee or a, you know, and it was interesting. They go, well, those are just overuse injuries, you know, and obviously, you know, back then that was
because you're not allowing yourself to recover, I guess.
Well, it's just that you're doing the same motion over and over. You've got to vary that, whether it's the angle of the joint or it's the, you know, the range of motion of the muscle. You just kind of have to vary it up. And sometimes you just have to take a break and do mobility and do, you know, just some different stuff that requires you to, you know, get out of the exercise mentality of doing a push up, a pull up, a row, whatever, a plank or whatever. You know, it's like, because that's what everybody tells you to do, and you can get great results from it, but you can also get overuse injuries, you know, and that's where here I am telling you my whole history here, but it's fascinating because I've been down the path.
You've been down this path, yeah.
And one of the things I did, especially when I got burned out on running, is I started doing obstacle course racing, which it's every obstacle, and every time you go over that obstacle, it's a little different every time because it's a natural obstacle. The rock might be higher, the wall might be higher, it might be wider. You have to. So as you're doing these obstacle course races and as you're training for it, it's like there's no same movement every time. So you're not going to get the overuse injuries, right? And what it does is it causes you to use your body in natural ways because, you know, that's the way our bodies were designed, right? That's how they evolved, you know, climbing trees or climbing rocks or running or swimming or, you know, doing whatever it is, lifting heavy things like a rock. It's not a straight bar with weights on the end. It's awkward. It's bulky, you know. It's you know, I'm sure you've done manual labor in your life, you know, and you know, picking up those bags of cement's a pain in the ass because they're heavy and there's no good way to carry them. You know, and it's just like, or a rock or a boulder or something like that. And it's so much different every time that you're really working your body out in a different way every time. So that's kind of what I ended up with. And it's pretty awesome. I really actually enjoyed my workouts too, because it was outside most of the time and it was doing cool shit.
Do you notice that working out while you're outside, you get a different benefit than if you are inside doing a similar type routine?
Yes, for sure.
And that's something that Jack Cruz guy talks about as well, is that natural sunlight. Like if you're working out in a gym and you're getting all that artificial light while you're working out, like you're gonna get a different impact from it. And I have noticed the same thing as well. Like I once I started to do these calisthenic exercises, and I was doing them a lot during my lunch break, and I was outside doing them in the sun, I felt like there was something to it. I just felt like there was something that was happening that was pretty positive while I was outside in the sunlight.
Right.
And since then, I've been doing more of this stuff inside. But I've also been eating a lot worse. I can't quite, you know, whatever, correlation is not causation or whatever. So,
yeah. Well,
but I do think there's a lot of benefit for being outside.
There is. And I'd like to talk more about it. But unfortunately, the reason I was interrupted a little while ago is our 2 dogs have been sprayed by a skunk, and I've been summoned to.
Oh man! All right, all right. We'll call it early tonight, man.
But we can have this. We can continue to have this talk because I got a lot more to say, obviously, because I've devoted my life to it practically for about 10 or 15 years. Before I started getting into farming, that's what I did. So
yeah, let's continue this because I'm super pumped about all this kind of information, and I think maybe we can help a few people from maybe the stuff that we're learning.
I think so. I think so because they're all fairly common problems. So, but anyway, thanks a lot, Greg. Sorry for cutting it short, buddy, but we'll reconvene next week, man.
All right, John. Appreciate you. Where people find you still on Twitter at Soul Survivor
78. Yes, absolutely.
All right, man. Well,
y'all have a great week.
Thank you. You too. And guys, Billy and Sherry, thanks for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Yeah, been a little while since I got on here and done a stream, so we'll get this one out there, and more to come on the Tinker Tribe channel. We've been working on a little cabin out in the woods, Logan and myself, for a while there, so going to be posting more about the updates to that. Also been working on a solar project out with another friend of mine. And so I've been building up some content. I've just need to get to editing some of this stuff and get it posted. So that's some of the stuff that's going to be coming to the channel up here pretty soon. See, Billy, you had a couple of cool things to say here. Circadian rhythms, like circadian rhythms, 24-hour cycles. The body also has circa-annual rhythms, which are biological processes that follow a yearly cycle. I think so. Everything's cyclical in our universe, and all these things happen on cycles, and it really feels like that. It's just like that passage in the Bible, I guess, for everything there is a season. Let's see. These rhythms can influence hormone production, immune function, even cellular repair. For example, melatonin, cortisol, D levels fluctuate with the seasons, affecting inflammation and recovery. Yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense because we've adapted to all these processes, living as beings on this planet. And so, we're adapted to all these natural rhythms. And in our modern world, we have all these natural rhythms interrupted by, our modern world and technology. And so we've kind of broken ourselves away from some of these natural processes and cycles. So, yeah, Billy, been missing you too, man. Really wanting to catch up with you, and I can't. You're in the back of my mind a lot. I know you've been going through a lot, but been thinking about you too, and hope everything's going well, and we can catch up soon. The more we would keep working on this little place down in on my property down in and around Coleman, over in Crane Hill, the more we get that fixed up, the closer we'll probably get to being able to maybe host some people down there and have little weekends down there. I know the big thing for us in our local area is that everybody's so spread apart, and but maybe we can get together and do some cool things. Maybe get together and do some events on a more regular basis as far as get-togethers, because the in-person meetings and doing stuff more than just over computer screens and on the telephone, I think I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot more. So, all right, with that, guys, we'll leave it there for tonight. And yeah, stay tuned to the channel. Let's see what else Billy got going on. 2015 study published in Nature Communications found that gene expression in immune cells varies between winter and summer. Pro-inflammatory responses are higher in winter. And let's see, winter leading to slower healing but better defense against infections. Man, we gotta have a conversation about this guy Jack Cruz, because he's talking a lot of the stuff he is talking about is like kind of along these same lines. And he was even talking about how mate selection happens, and like our sense of smell is kind of tied to your mate selection, and that but a lot of our, like, these perfumes and things mask the person's true scent, but the scent is in partially about if your partner has like a complementary immune system to yours. So like if you get sick, that they're not gonna get sick or whatever. So so at least there's somebody that's able to function while the other person isn't, or whatever, which I thought was really interesting. So I don't know. Health rabbit holes, man, they're fun to go down. But with that, guys, we'll end it here for tonight, and we'll catch you guys again. We'll be doing this next week. We've kind of got our regular thing going for John and Logan and I. So we'll be doing this every Sunday, and I'm going to be working on getting more people in for podcast guest interviews, and then posting more content on some of the projects and stuff I've been working on. So stay tuned for all that. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.